A House panel has been given an early look at some of the findings of a study examining the salaries of state employees. Lawmakers plan to use the study as the basis for legislation changing the way Oklahoma state employees are compensated.
State government is the largest employer in Oklahoma, but state workers make far less on average than their counterparts in the private sector. Making matters worse for state employees, most haven't had a pay raise in 7 years. The State Office of Management and Enterprise Services hired Neville Kinning, a private human resources consultant, to study the state employee compensation system. Kinning determined that Oklahoma's benefits plan was better than average when compared with other states and the private sector, but salaries on average lag more than 20% behind market values.
You do have a very attractive, from a design perspective, retirement plan and health care plan, but it is not offset by the lack of competitiveness on salaries.
That's in line with a study conducted by the Office of Management and Enterprise Services each year. The annual compensation report for fiscal year 2012 shows average salaries for state workers were more than 24% below salaries for similar jobs in the private sector.
Salary matters, and we need to start dispelling the myth that, quote, our benefits are so good that we don't need to be competitive on salary.
State Finance Secretary Preston Dorflinger suggests Oklahoma's compensation model is heavy on benefits and light on pay.
The pay to benefits mix is out of whack. If the state spent less on benefits, it would free up resources to reward well-performing employees with better pay.
Dorflinger argued the legislature should move away from its current system of compensation and adopt a performance-based model to determine pay raises for state employees.
We have to begin to provide managers at every level of this enterprise we call state government with the tools to successfully evaluate performance. This is one of the most difficult things for any manager in any organization to do.
State Representative Jerry McPeak questioned how a performance pay system could be applied to state workers.
I'm struggling with the ability to be able to make those decisions in government. In private business, I didn't have so much problem with it because I could measure by production and those kind of things. And I'll give you an example. The state legislature might be a good example. I'm not sure how you would measure which legislator does the best job.
Reality is that if you ask any employee in any job, how would they recognize outstanding performance compared to average performance, compared to non-performance, they can tell you. And by being able to tell you, they're effectively saying, I know how to measure that.
One current benefit that Dorflinger is targeting for elimination is longevity pay, which amounts to about $100 for each year a worker remains employed by the state.
Today, the state rewards loyalty over performance. Tens of millions of dollars a year goes to longevity pay. Each year, employees get a little extra money regardless of performance. Best employees get the same as the worst. The only requirement is to not quit.
Dorflinger argues elimination of longevity pay for all will provide money to reward those identified as high performers. Oklahoma Public Employees Association President Sterling Zerley says a performance-based pay system merits consideration, but believes salaries need to be increased before longevity pay is eliminated.
If you turn that pie 15 different ways, if you're 20% below market, you're 20% below market. So we really need to deal with the issue and not start changing the benefits, start changing the longevity, because that is a significant, the thing with longevity, that's the only thing in state employees' pay that is consistent.
Zerling also says any talk of changing Oklahoma's pension system should be shelved until salaries are addressed.
We do not want to have pension discussions until we resolve this compensation issue, because it's a part of it. You can't take one part out and mess with it and not deal with the whole entire package.
Other state employees also made a case for increasing salaries before changing benefits. Mike Rogers is a unit director at the James Crabtree Correctional Center in Helena. Rogers told the panel he hasn't had a pay raise in 8 years.
It's discouraging when you look at the first of the year and you get your check stub from PeopleSoft on the network, which is a wonderful thing, and you see that you're taking home less money now than you did 8 years ago for not only just doing the same job that you're doing, but with more responsibility and higher offender counts and less staff to do it with.
Rogers says his unit at the Crabtree facility is critically understaffed.
I know out of 100% of the people we've hired in the last 8 years, we have less than half still working for us. Again, I have half the staff that I had 8 years ago. Morale has become a very serious issue.
Rogers' comments were echoed by Department of Human Services employee Jess Callahan, who told lawmakers large numbers of state workers rely on food stamps to get by each month.
Ironically, many DHS employees and those in other walks of state employment actually qualify for public assistance. I know that was mentioned earlier. I can confirm that. We're having more and more state employees come through our doors asking for public assistance because of our wages.
Kinning's report on employee compensation is expected to be released early next month. He warned lawmakers the plan does not offer a quick fix.
The current situation that you're in terms of level of competitiveness and the state of the plan, you didn't get to it overnight, nor should you expect to be able to get it overnight. And we are working on a 5-year plan to present in terms of here's a series of recommendations over a 5-year period.
Kinning says the study will recommend reducing funds going to benefits to free up resources for salary increases.
The start has to be of these two components. We need to increase pay and potentially we need to manage back benefits. The start cannot be we need to manage back benefits. We've got to start with we need to increase pay.
State Representative Leslie Osborne requested the study. She plans to file legislation in the upcoming session to begin making changes to the compensation system. Osborne says her bill will address what she calls targeted pay raises, changes in longevity pay, and a future switch to a performance pay system phased in over a 4 to 5 year period.
The Office of Management and Enterprise Services paid Neville Kenning $77,000 to conduct the study. The state paid another $120,000 to the Hay Group consulting firm for technical and market analysis of the data.